Welcome back for another module of the email list building course. My name again is Bob, the teacher. I'm the marketing educator here at Leadpages. And in this module, I want to break down for you the idea of your first 5 messages. Your first 5 messages of your follow-up sequence are critical to establishing that relationship that turns people from a visitor to the subscriber and then on to a customer. So let's go ahead and jump in and let me map out for you what to say on your first 5 messages. Your first 5 messages are a key element of that email list building plan that you have. And if you do this right, you'll have amazing semi-automated results for your marketing. So in this module, I want to show you how to set up an initial cluster of follow-up emails to go out to all of your new subscribers and another similar list to all of your new customers. Doing this will lower your unsubscribes and lower your refund rate, which will obviously boost your bottom line. You also want to increase your stickiness factor with your subscribers through social media connections that you include in your follow-up sequence. Now, eventually, you should have dozens, if not hundreds, of follow-up messages in your email sequence. However, it all starts with the first 5 email messages, and as you move forward, simply repeat this process. You should have the first 5 follow-up messages for new subscribers to help transition them to becoming customers. And you'll also want to write your first 5 follow-up messages for new customers to transition them to a higher level of customer status. It's essential that you keep the follow-ups evergreen because some folks may read these messages 2, 3, or maybe even 5 years from now, and you still want them to have the same kind of power then as they do today. Then make sure to iterate this process for additional leverage long term. Imagine how much time freedom you'll have when you have up to a year or more of messages preloaded into your email service provider so that you can communicate with any new subscriber even if you took a year-long vacation. So just like we talked about your monetized action plan, we want to plan your message sequence out, and in a moment, I'll show you how to do this in a mind map. You start with the following questions. What's the gist of each message? What are you really trying to get across? 2, what's the call to action going to be? At the end of the email, what do you want people to do before they go about their business? Number 3 is what subject line will you use in order to entice them to open the message? And number 4, how will you close your message to ensure that people take the action that you're wanting them to take? Now let me show you how to plan this inside of a mind map. In the earlier module, I showed you all about the monetized action plan, and when we left off, we talked about the curriculum that you would have to help your ideal audience members achieve the benefits that they want while also achieving your own business goals. And one of the things we talked about was the autoresponder process, or the crumbs, that connects people from the lead magnet you're going to give to them and get them to purchase the entire loaf of your main product or service. So let's dive deeper into the autoresponder with these first 5 messages. Now remember, you will set up a list for your non-customers and you'll set up a list for your customers. So it's important that right away you set up some list automation that if anybody does purchase your product, you're going to remove them from the free list and move them into the customer list. If you do so, they'll bypass these messages that they don't really need to see. But let's assume for a moment that they do not purchase right away. Here's one of the message pattern breakdowns that I've used in my own business and I recommend to a lot of my coaching clients. Message number 1 is going to go out immediately after they have signed up to your list. A simple subject line could be something like, get, and then the result that you're promising with confidence, your free gift inside. The gist of this message is that you want to give them the thing that they've signed up for and remind them why they want to consume it right now. This means repeating the benefits that they are looking for and giving them a quick example of a result they can expect if they continue to take action based on your instructions or guidance. Your message call to action should include a link to the download page or the replay page depending on what your lead magnet is about. Of course, on that page, you're going to have a call to action to your primary product, so you don't need to have it inside of your email for message number 1. Finally, in your first message, you'll want to have a good PS. I encourage you to use what's called an open loop scenario, where in your PS, you let them know what's coming next, so that they're going to want to open up your next email. For example, tomorrow I'll share my number 1 tip from, and then whatever the name of the product is that you're giving away. Your second message should be delivered on the second day, 1 day after the first message. A subject line for you to consider would be my number one tip to help you with, and then whatever the primary benefit is that you're looking to help people with. Ideally, your subject line for your message number 2 should be similar to what you wrote in the PS of message number 1. You'll be surprised how much that boosts your open rates when you keep your PS of the previous message highly congruent with the subject line of your next message. The general gist of message number 2 is to make sure that they've consumed the free thing, giving them another chance in case life got in the way or they got busy. And then you also want to give them your number 1 tip that's inside of that free gift. Not only does this help people who didn't have time to consume your free gift, it also reinforces the primary benefit that you're driving them towards, which ultimately means them purchasing your product or service. So in this second message, it's also essential that you mention a deeper version that gets people results faster or provides them with a product that can serve as a shortcut. Your call to action in message number 2 should encourage people to go back to the free thing download page and also leave a comment so that you can get to know them a little bit better. The byproduct of this, when done correctly, is you'll have a page full of social proof and comments between your subscribers and yourself that show people you're actually connected to your audience. In your PS for message number 2, you may want to ask a good question like, what's your biggest frustration about the area of concern that you handle? And then ask for that response in the form of an email, a comment on the download page, a comment on a popular blog post you have, or even connecting with you on Facebook. However you ask it in your PS, the general idea of message 2 is to solidify that relationship with your new subscriber. It also improves that sticky factor that allows you to communicate with them not only via email but also in social media. Next up for your non-customers is message number 3. I recommend sending this message 2 days after your previous message and using a subject line like the fastest way to better and then whatever results that you're giving people. The general gist of this is to dive deeper with the product or service that you offer and showcase in your message the top benefits that are seen in the higher level product. You may want to share a story or a case study or some kind of example where you can highlight a result that people get because they've used your product or service. This kind of story needs to be as realistic as possible. You can share this example or result within the email itself or link people to a post on your website that presents that story more formally. Your call to action in this message should be to get the product that serves as the fastest pathway to the results that they're looking for. Your PS in this message should reflect a sense of urgency, and that urgency shouldn't always be about a price. More importantly, it should be about their sense of success and ending their frustration of trying to figure it out on their own. Of course, it never hurts to add extra perks for buying right now. In message number 4, which you'll send out a day or 2 later, you want to start handling some objections that people may have who haven't purchased your product. So a subject line like, "This was a hard lesson to learn," is going to get a great amount of opens. And in that message, you want to share another result or case study that can overcome the top objections that most people will have before they purchase your product. The call to action in this case should be a classic blog post or some kind of video lesson page that gives people a clearer picture of what your product can really do for them. In this message, your PS can be used to connect with them even deeper. So you may want to invite them to let you know about a specific question that they may have that you can help them with. Of course, don't be afraid to link to your primary product as a solution to that question. Finally, in message number 5, which you'll send out a day or 2 later, you want to build upon your credibility with a subject line like, "Have you seen the latest?" Since they haven't purchased your product yet, this message is setting up the stage of a longer-term relationship as a subscriber instead of as a customer. So you want to connect with people via social media so you can further build up your know, like, and trust factor with them. Your call to action in this case is to connect with you on social media channels of choice. For example, connect with your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, or other social media channels. Of course, if you don't use those channels, don't include them in your follow-up messages. And if at some point in the future you start to really thrive on a new channel, make sure you come back to this message to add it in. Your PS in message number 5 should simply reinforce the reason why they should connect with you on social media. Creating a message like this is a great starting point for turning more of your new subscribers into customers. And speaking of which, as soon as they become a customer, you want to send them an additional set of messages. Just be sure that if you have additional levels of purchase, that you remove them from this initial customer list if they've upgraded to a higher level. You'll notice the pattern of these 5 messages are very similar to the messages you send to non-customers. Immediately, you send a message that helps them understand that they've just received what they've paid for. So help them get the thing that they signed up for, remind them why they wanted it in the first place by repeating the benefits and giving a quick example of a result that they may see if they take action. In your customer emails, you also want to let them know how to get support. Your call to action in this message should include a link to the download page, a link to your support desk, and a link to a private Facebook group or LinkedIn group if you have one. And just like in your free email sequence, be sure to include an open loop for why they should expect an email from you tomorrow. With message number 2, send it out the very next day, and include that number 1 tip to help them see the benefit they're looking for faster. Again, you're wanting them to consume the product they've purchased, so give them the tip and then get them directed back to the main product that they've picked up. So your call to action should send them back to the product page and ask them to leave a comment. And this time, your response that you're asking for is what's your biggest takeaway so far about the product. Ask them to share that on a blog post, on a download page, Facebook page, or even sending you a direct email. In message number 3 for your customers, which you send out a day or 2 later, give them the opportunity to pick up the next highest level. This means that you're giving them a deeper dive with another level of purchase, so provide them an explanation of the top benefits that are seen in that next level product. Share another example of or a result from a real case study that you have in your customer base. Your call to action is a link to that next level product, and your PS stresses the urgency of why they should get it now. Your message number 4 should go out another day or 2 later, and I recommend that you use a subject line like checking in on their progress. The general idea here is within 1 week, how far have they consumed your product or service? So ask them point blank, how are you doing with it so far? Your call to action should be directed to the best part of your product or course, so you help them to realize the chief benefits that you're offering. Your PS should include the opportunity to ask you questions that you or your help desk can answer, as well as a link to that next level product. And your 5th message for customers, which goes out a day or 2 later, should encourage them to share what they've enjoyed so far. So a subject line like "don't keep this to yourself" is ideal. Basically, you want to encourage referrals both through an official affiliate program if you have one, or through Good Karma for social sharing. Your call to action should be to sign up to an affiliate program that you have, and your PS should encourage them to do so. And if you don't have an affiliate program, use your PS to encourage sharing on your social media channels. Now, I've got a few more email writing tips for you for all of your messages. First of all, make sure you focus on that MAP curriculum that you've already laid out for yourself. Use that as a guide every step of the way. Secondly, make sure you keep your messages nice and personal. Use words like you and I, yours and ours, and even first names of your subscribers very judiciously. What you want to avoid are group speak words like "hey you guys," "hey everybody," because that makes your subscriber feel like just a small person within a larger group. Also, you want to use consistent and simple HTML. Just use essential images with minimal text, text links with direct instruction. Don't worry about using a ton of graphics in your emails, because that can impact your delivery, load time, and responsiveness. Also, be sure to tell stories periodically within your email follow-up sequence. No matter how big your company is, people want to know that there's real people behind it. And ultimately, that kind of connection is what's going to lead to future purchases. Now, in your follow-up sequence, I mentioned that you should be using your follow-up messages to highlight key content on your website or blog. Ideally, you'll want to send traffic to evergreen blog posts and About Me pages so that you can garner new comments for expanding social proof. If you really want to focus their attention so they consume what you're offering, use video lesson pages or other standalone pages so they're free from distractions. Let me show you how to set up a page like this inside of Leadpages. If you want to showcase a video, this new video lesson page for autoresponder follow-up works quite nicely. If your follow-up content is more text-based, you might want to use this long-form sales page with video instead. In either case, you simply open up the template, customize your page by changing out your logo, tell people which part of the sequence they're in, and how many steps you're going to be showing them. This particular template's really cool because of the status bar automatically updating to help people understand where they are in their journey. To include a video on this page, simply head over to your video service of choice, such as YouTube, grab the embed code, copy it, and paste it into your video box. Since all of our templates come with a call to action button, You may want to link this button to your checkout page, which we'll be talking about in an upcoming module. This particular template also has a spot for Facebook comments, which you can use to direct traffic to your original opt-in page. Be sure to customize the styles to reflect the design of your own colors. Then be sure to save your page and then add it to your website. The most recent page you've worked on will be at the top, and simply give it a URL to exist on your website. With the quick click of this button, your lesson page is now set on your site. Now, if you haven't already done so and you're eager to let us do most of the heavy lifting of marketing, go and get started now with your Leadpages account. Remember, all membership levels have a 30-day guarantee. You can create an unlimited number of lead pages for your follow-up content pages. And we've got a great special running for you right now over at www.leadpages.net/list special. We've got a lot of great new customer training waiting for you inside the members area, including weekly live webinars to get you up and running quickly. And when you're ready, head over to module number 7 and we'll start talking about sales page conversion strategies to turn your subscribers into buyers.